Welcome to Your Healing Era, a podcast for artists, creatives, healers, anyone living outside the traditional mold who's searching beyond the conventional forms of healing. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and rate the podcast. Thanks for being here, and let's dive into today's episode. So welcome everyone. I'm so excited for today. I got the international touring artist, award-winning performing songwriter, leader of her own band, as well as Ginger Bomb and other musical projects. She leads songwriting groups and retreats, and she's just a beautiful human inside out. I'm pleased to introduce to you Megan Burtt. Hey Megan, thanks for being here.
I liked that intro.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was really good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah. Hot summer gigging. Things are okay.
Yeah, you recently got back from a tour.
Yeah, I went to the Midwest with some of my bandmates. It was great. It was actually really great.
Good shows.
It's funny that that's surprising. The shows were great. The vibe was great. The hang was great. The logistics were great. It felt like a charmed tour.
Amazing. Yeah, surprising that it was great because Warika's tour can suck sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I come home not feeling great and wondering what I did that for. And I did not feel that this time.
That's great. That's hopeful. Yeah, you know that Michael Jackson video where they're like asking him to talk about tour and tell how much he loves it, and he's like, "But I hate touring." Have you seen that thing?
No.
It's like a little clip. I have to find it and send it to you. He's like, "But I hate touring." They're like, "Come on, Michael, just just for this interview or whatever." And then they like do a new take, and they're like, and right away he says, "I love touring," and then everyone cracks up. Anyways,
how do you feel about touring?
No, I hate touring.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, obviously there's magic to it, and I've had some of the most magical experiences and really beautiful moments, crazy adventures, meaningful moments, and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's just mostly really hard. I talk to a lot of people that agree with me that it's just like 95% like really hard work, whether it's like, travels and trouble along the way and carrying gear and things breaking down and things going bad and not enough sleep and weird situations. And then like the other 5% of like just magic on stage. Pure magic on stage with the musicians and pure magic of connecting with the audience and whatever happens in that moment that reminds me of like, oh, that's why I'm doing it. Because most of the time, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then that little moment that is like the big spark that reminds you why you do what you do.
I feel like touring is just sort of like that ratio, the 95-5, is just sort of an exaggerated but on trend ratio for just like everything that we do.
How do you mean?
Because I just feel like it primarily is just a bunch of bullshit and just a small percentage of absolute magic and somehow we justify it all to ourselves.
Yeah. There's also something really freeing I found about tour because it takes you away from like your normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Where you have to get up and do stuff, and like on tour there's like a big sense of purpose, I feel like, because you have somewhere to be and you're working with a group of people towards like a mutual goal of delivering a performance together and everything that entails. I think that kind of has a lot of meaning and purpose, which really helps with life.
Maybe that's why this tour was great for me, because I went with bandmates and I often am touring solo.
Yeah.
So that collaboration and connection and teammate feel that I don't usually get to feel was there in terms of purpose,
Yeah, that's awesome. What was the like three things that make a dream gig that if you have a couple of them, it's good, but if you have all three, then it's like the dream gig. It's like the music itself, the people, and what, like the money or something. And if you're getting paid, if you're doing music that you love and you're doing it with people that you really vibe with, it's like the dream gig situation.
I feel like I feel like for me, the money would be four. I mean, it would be great if money was number three, but I feel like being appreciated by the venue is number
Mm.
three. When you show up and the venue is like glad you're there and the sound crew are kind and patient and know what they're doing and your green room has something in it that's like, thank we're glad you're here,
Yeah,
like
feeling
you
welcomed and
are.
appreciated
Yeah, yeah, that is
is
probably
huge.
number three. And then if there's money on top of it, it's like
Hallelujah.
you really made it.
Yeah, I found that like in Europe, you've toured Europe, right?
Yeah.
I found that in Europe, I felt much more welcome and appreciated.
Oh, like tenfold.
Yeah, right? They're
Especially
just so happy
Germany.
that you're there.
Yeah. 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 It's kind
Especially
of
what?
overwhelming, honestly. Like you're when you're not used to being that appreciated, it's almost like shameful or something.
No, take it in. Wait, what did you say?
Yeah.
Especially Germany?
Yeah, in my experience.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Where
they,
is it good for you in Europe? Where's
yeah, no,
it?
actually, Germany for sure. Absolutely. I even just recalled like a couple different instances when I performed there. Like the way they treat you, they get you everything you need. They make sure you get like really, wonderful dinner and you have it, whatever it is you need to feel comfortable and perform.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
There might be people listening, they don't even know you at all. So if anyone's listening, they don't know Megan. So first of all, go and listen to her beautiful music on whatever platform you listen to music, because it would just make your day better. So it's funny because you and I went to Berkeley in Boston, but we didn't know each other then. So you're from
Yeah.
Colorado, and then you moved to Boston. You went to music school at Berkeley. Then um, I heard you talk on some podcasts that you had some kind of a dream you were chasing, took you to Mississippi, and then moved back to Colorado, which is where you and I actually connected when I was in Boulder during the pandemic.
Wow. Can't believe you listened to a podcast. That's impressive. Um,
It helps because I don't want to make you talk about things that you feel maybe redundant, and also it's a good way to learn.
yeah. Well, thanks for that. Yeah, I wanted to be Bonnie Raitt and I wanted to be like a blues musician. So I moved to Mississippi. It was very short-lived because I got really sick there. And then I came back to Colorado. I had a gig in Vietnam for 4 months. And then I came back to Colorado. And then I moved to Brooklyn for 5 years. And then I came back to Colorado. So I have this weird karma with Colorado where I keep like sort of trying to leave and then coming back.
I have that with New York. I keep trying to leave and then I come.
Yeah, you do have that with New York. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
um, can I ask you something about like the whole like going to Mississippi, going after a dream, and then having that situation, a health situation happen that was kind of took you away from that?
Yeah, bring it up.
Do you feel like that eventually took you to where you're supposed to be, or do you feel like, oh, that totally destroyed my plans or whatever?
I think inevitably, spiritually, I really do believe that everything kind of happens for a reason. And the journey has already been written, and you're just sort of walking this path that's already been laid out karmically for you. In like very centered moments, I can get there. And maybe like less centered moments, I definitely have some feelings of regret and unfinished business and like why did this happen? Because I definitely feel like health crises have derailed my life more than once. And so, yeah, it's interesting to wonder sometimes. I mean, it's not helpful really, but I do sometimes wonder where I would be and what my life would look like if I if those things weren't part of my story. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see in the moment, but like a lot of issues that I had would turned out to be a blessing, even though it was hard and frustrating. But
I do. Yeah, and I also agree with that. Yeah, I don't even know who I would be if I didn't know so much about health and self-care and alternative medicine and stuff.
right. I feel
I
like
think I'm still unfolding it. I'm still unfolding the story. Maybe if you ask me in 5 or 10 years, it'll be a little more clear.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, when we met in Boulder, we were bonding over our gut health journey because we both struggle with like severe gut health situation that really got us to I would say learn to take much better care of ourselves.
Hmm.
Was that like a huge part of your evolution, or do you contribute? I don't know, did you have other moments that were more significant?
I think I think it probably is the biggest part of my evolution, my health journey. Yeah, I think probably it is. Absolutely, because I'm so used it's sort of the number one priority. And like if I don't feel well or I can't function, nothing else can happen on top of that.
Right.
So I have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it's like this thing that I think a lot of people don't understand if they've never actually faced a big health crisis that if you don't have your health, you kind of lose a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's just so
I
important.
I know. I wish it didn't take the crisis
I
to
know.
get there. It seems like it always starts at the crisis. And you sort of work your way backwards. But what if what if it didn't have to?
I had a spiritual teacher that was talking a lot about how we don't have to learn through suffering so much, but in reality, it seems like suffering is like the biggest teacher and the biggest like helper of turning points and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any like health advice for other artists out there, or do you have like your must-haves or staples or things?
Where to start? I was so I felt so embarrassed to go on tour with my bandmates for them to see like how high maintenance I am on the road and like how many things I bring with me,
Yes.
you know. Like I was like, I'm really pulling back the curtain here, which is funny because Lauren and I are very similar, and I was still like, oh gosh, I'm really gonna show them. Ugh. Um, here's like my must haves.
Hey, I'm gonna pause for just a minute because I really gotta tell you about this. If you're feeling called to go deeper on this work, and if you're a woman who loves making music or exploring sound, writing songs, and expressing yourself creatively, I'm leading a retreat in Mexico this summer. It's an intimate, immersive week of embodied healing and creative expansion. We'll have a professional recording studio on site. We'll be writing, producing, dancing, practicing yoga, meditating, swimming in the ocean, all the things. So really living inside our bodies and inside our art. If this is calling you, all the details are below. We have limited spots and we have early bird pricing, so go check it out. And if Mexico isn't happening for you right now, I also have a free nervous system regulation tool that you can explore at home in your own time. And if you're ready for something more structured, my full nervous system sorcery course is also available. Everything is linked below. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Or my, what I wish for if I had a magic wand or a genie in a bottle, here's what I would do for my artist community. I, from doing it for 20 years, know how important it is to work with a practitioner who treats in a holistic way. And that is always pay out of pocket. And so many of my friends can't or don't want to prioritize that financial overhead because they're not used to it, because we've like have this distorted model of health with health insurance and Western medicine and stuff. And like, it's so important to work with someone who can run blood work and labs and things that you can't get from your doctor. Like, there's literally no way I would be here right now if I didn't have that. And I talk to people know that I'm into this. So they talk to me a lot about aches and pains and tests and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm kind of known in my friend group as the one to go to talk about this. And I just wish that everyone had an advocate in that world, and that musicians had a way to prioritize financially getting a teammate and an advocate who could treat them naturopathically. To me, that is like a non-negotiable for everyone.
Huge, right?
And I don't know how to convince people of that, you know? It's like my friends usually have to get to crisis.
It took me a long time to get to the realization of how important it is to have support and layers of support. But also, for many years, I couldn't really afford it. So,
Of course.
yeah.
So few of us can. And I think it's a problem. There are ways to get care affordably. And one of my tour hacks actually is community acupuncture. A lot of people don't know about this, but you can Google like any city that you're in and then like St. Louis community acupuncture, and usually find a clinic and get sliding scale acupuncture for like sometimes like $20.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great tour hack. It's a great life hack, but it's a great tour hack.
Any other tour hacks?
Well, there's an app. This is like not on the health front, but there is an app called Postagram that I love. That's another tour hack that's really great for like thank yous if you're staying with someone or you want to send someone a postcard from the road. It's like the best. It's the best app.
So wait, what does it do?
It sends people a postcard, but you can like take a photo and make your photo the postcard.
That's so cool. Oh my God, I got to download that.
It's the best. It's like, it's one of my ultimate tour hacks because like you have so many people that help make a tour happen, and it's nice to acknowledge people with a little thank you. And yeah, I hear about them all the time, or I'll go back to someone's house and like my postagram will still be on their refrigerator or something.
Yeah. I love that. I actually have been in the habit of sending actual postcards the last, for a long time. But on this past tour I did, I was actually looking for postcards from every place I went, and I sent my family and some friends like postcards from like different cities.
Oh,
actually, this morning I sent postcards. I just looked up where was the drop box. USPS, and I dropped some postcards this morning. I love that.
I mean, a postcard is a little more fun probably, but this is
the thing. This is really cool that you can take a photo and send that as a postcard. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to check it out. What's it called again?
Postagram.
Postagram.
Yeah.
That's pretty genius.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Cool. Here's something I was thinking about diving into for a second.
Okay.
If you're into it.
Yeah.
So we were talking about health. We're talking about physical health, but obviously there's all of the other layers of your non-physical health that are also involved, like mental health. And something that drew me to music from a young age was this feeling of feeling less alone.
Mm-hmm.
And, like the feeling that music could give you when you listen to something, you're like, oh my God, you just instantly feel less alone. Maybe I should say more connected, but less alone was kind of like what I felt like good music does, is makes you feel less alone. And I heard you, I think we talked about it before. And also I feel like some of your songs have a theme of loneliness and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of moments when I was maybe like a teenager, or, before we had iPhones and social media and stuff. I mean, people feel a lot of anxiety and loneliness these days, but like we felt loneliness and anxiety and had issues before the social medias and all that too. And I don't know, I would like lay on the floor and listen to a record and like it would change my life, right?
Yeah.
Is there any memorable kind of artists or records or things that made you feel that or that inspired you or other musical moments?
I mean, I had the exact same thing. I I don't know how unique I am in this, but loneliness feels like it's just one of my karmic things in this lifetime that I just keep coming back to. Like I often feel very alone or very lonely and have like a fear of loneliness. Yeah, it definitely comes up in my songs a lot. But I had Joni Mitchell Blue on repeat in my, very formative, like 15, 16 when I first got a guitar years. Also, I listened to Sarah McLachlan, Fumbling Towards Ecstasy, like so much at that time. And even to this day, I think female singer-songwriters tend to be where I find the most musical comfort. But yeah, something about just, I don't know. I don't know what it was, like the female perspective or just like being able to see myself in that through that medium. But I very much had that same childhood moment of using music and feeling less alone.
And now you're offering that to others through your music, but not just your music. You also run songwriting groups.
Yeah, I facilitate a handful of different songwriting things. I have a monthly songwriting accountability group where you have to bring a new song to come. It's like a song share. Um, that happens in Colorado. I've been doing that for years. And I host a women's songwriting retreat in Texas every January. And I do some mentorship around songs and teaching around songwriting here and there when it comes up. I, yeah, I feel pretty passionate about songs and songwriting. I like creating an opportunity for people to show up for that craft because I know for me, the most me that I feel is when I'm writing songs. The most accomplished I feel, the most authentic I feel, the most like purposeful in this life I feel is if I write a song. And it also tends to get knocked down in the priority list because there's always an email to send or a show to book or like something to be dealt with. And so I think, I know at least for me, like I need a deadline, I need accountability, like going to the gym. Like I have an accountability gym buddy because I know I'm not going to go without that. So I know that I have to create accountability for me to show up for my songwriting too. And I just know that about myself and I assume that about others. And turns out to be true. So yeah, it feels like a good thing to be doing in this life to sort of help people, help my friends and my community also show up for that in a space that feels good and has nice cheeses.
Has nice cheeses.
Yeah, like snacks, like good snacks.
Oh, yeah, snacks are important. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've been a part of songwriting groups or challenges like here and there, and they've been super supportive.
Yeah.
And just the whole idea of accountability, or like I like to call it hand holding, not just with songs, but with anything like gym, like you said. Like sometimes I have co-working sessions with a couple other women just to be like, okay, we're just on a Zoom together, but we're all doing our own thing, but this is our time to get certain kind of work done or something. It's just like sometimes you just need a hand holding to take you over the threshold, just literally like to take the step
Yeah.
into.
What's my friend call it? It's called body doubling, I think, where you don't need them to do the work for you. You just need them to be a witness.
Yeah, can you just be here?
Just be a witness. Yeah, I love a good co-working session.
That's so cool. Yeah, what have you found most transformational about these type of groups?
I mean, the women's songwriting retreat in Austin is pretty special. It's small. It tends to be a very similar group every year with some fresh blood when when it works out. But there's just something about like women gathering that is so important and so primal and so safe. At least it can be, you know. I know it's not always that way, but it certainly is in that situation. And uh there's so much vulnerability in songwriting that creating safety around it feels important. And, you know, there's so much about that week. It's like the safety and also just carving time away from your regular routine to focus on something. I just think it's hard to get things done these days if you don't leave.
Yeah,
You don't leave your life.
there's so much distractions. And also like what you mentioned a couple of times already, which I totally relate to, is the fact that there's just so many things that seem more important or more urgent. Like making art and creativity just falls to the back burner, and that can fall to the back burner for years or for your whole life if you never bring it forward consciously. Because I know for myself, like just so many years where I'm just like, you busy with the essentials. Like I gotta work, I gotta make sure I could pay rent. I gotta make sure whatever I send the important email or I take care of the essential life things. And like songwriting could seem non-essential, but when we're actually doing that, it does feel so fulfilling. And even if you don't do that as your main career or as a profession, there's just so much value in having a creative, expressive outlet.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If it's not your career, and if it is your career, this is the thing that I remind myself, I think about it so much. And I always tell people, especially if I'm in like a mentoring situation, that like our careers, even if it's like a hobbyist career, doesn't have to be your main source of income. But if you engage in music and you play gigs and you make records at any level, like you have some, you have a music career of sorts. It's like our career is built on our catalog. And the strength of our catalog is going to reflect the strength of our career. And sometimes people get lucky and they write one insane record, but there's usually something behind that that you don't know. And it's like if you're not showing up for this craft and you're not building catalog, then the opportunity that comes from songs is just you're gonna hit a ceiling of it. And I think about opportunities that come from my catalog, and it's always so random. It's hard to like tangibly explain, but for me, who knows my catalog and knows how the opportunities come in, like it is so much about continuing to write songs.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. And so if you're like me and you need a deadline to do it, like whatever it takes, because it will. If I don't create a deadline for myself, it will fall back on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll just like become one of those people who's just using psychology to get songs done and like just, put myself in horrible situations where I have to feel enough horrible things that I just have to write a song. But I don't know that that's the healthiest way to go.
Yeah.
I prefer deadline to like addiction.
Yeah. Or being in that struggling artist mentality of like I have to suffer in order to create, but which is sometimes is the truth. Sometimes I know for myself, I've put such a low priority to writing, and it took me like having a really down moment where like nothing was helping. I didn't know what to do. And then I grabbed the guitar and that's all I could do. And something came out, but ideally that's not how I create usually. I just make space for it or prioritize it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the pie graph of ways you create and reasons you create, that's a very valid piece of the puzzle, piece of the pie, like completely. We have feelings and we're good at expressing them through this medium. But yeah, I think that it doesn't always have to be that way.
Let's talk about vulnerability, which you mentioned before, which is a huge thing, I think, for especially for songwriters, because we like pour our hearts into a thing, we work on it, and then we have to actually put it out in the world.
Hmm. Yeah.
What's that been like for you? Just like the whole process of releasing
I
these heart creations.
I hate vulnerability. I hate it. I hate it so much. I never want to feel it ever. It's like my least favorite thing. Um,
But that doesn't stop you.
it doesn't stop me from writing songs, but it stops me from other stuff.
Like what?
Like wanting to release it, like the way I show up in the world, like my communication, my relationships. Yeah, it takes a lot for me to like trust someone with my heart in that way, which is so ironic because I really don't hold back in my songs at all.
Right, and
So,
you also do end up releasing a lot of music over the years. So, do you have a trick?
um, no, I don't know. I think, thank God I'm not, uh, I don't hold back in my songs. But, if someone really wants to get to know me, they should just like read my lyrics.
Right. And you mentioned like trusting people with your music, which I wanted to ask you about the whole idea of getting into a studio with someone or with multiple people or going on the road with some people. Like it's really important to have the right kind of people around you, right? What's that been like? Because I feel
I
like you
think
have good people around you, at least right
I have
now.
the best. I have the best. But it definitely takes like finding your tribe and then they become your family. Like find your people and then treat them like your family
Mm, I like that.
until things inevitably shift and change. But yeah, I think like once you find that safety and that connection with someone, like I try to hold on to it for as long as I can without being a psychopath.
You also have a Patreon, right?
We do, yeah.
Which is another community aspect where that's just for paid members, and that's a space where you share stuff that is maybe even more vulnerable because not everyone on the internet gets to have it, but only people who are like full on support on your team and they get some
Yeah.
extra vulnerability.
Yeah, but to me, that's easy because they have pledged to me that they want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
They're
if,
your people, like they're on your team. It's
yeah, they're
like,
like on my team, like, they're like, here, like, we want to hear from you.
yeah.
And so I'm like, great, I have a reason to talk to you, but I don't like just talking for the sake of talking or like talking without a reason to talk about something. So Patreon is,
But here we are talking.
yeah, I know, but you invited me here to say stuff. Like I
Okay.
would say 0% of this on like a social media post.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do. I do. It's a strange time with media,
It's a
and
very
everyone's
good
kind
time.
of navigating that.
I mean, how do you deal with that vulnerability?
I
Like,
think it's like a long, still ongoing process of, kind of peeling off the whole layer of, what would people think about me and how people would judge me or whatever mental obstacles people have a reservation around sharing online and being vulnerable online and being seen and all of that. A lot of getting out of your own way. I think I'm still in the process of it, but like this podcast, for example, is like it's a way for people to actually obviously get to know my guests, but we're having conversations so they get to know me as well.
yeah,
But there's something cool about long form content, I think, like a
yeah,
podcast where
yeah,
people it's more than a post. But
totally.
it's also helps not necessarily polarize, but just people can very quickly learn if they want to be on your team. Now, it's not that there's teams or sides or anything, but they're like,
No,
oh my
totally.
God, cool. I like her story. I like her vibe, or I don't,
100%. 100%. And inevitably, I would rather have 10 people who obviously want to be here than 100,000 people who, are flippant about it.
Yeah.
And I think because I have that loneliness thing, like I need to be shown that that people want me there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you do get proof, no?
Oh,
You
sure.
end up sharing your music and you end up showing up live on stage and you end up talking to your listeners on different mediums, but also probably a lot of time live and get,
Yeah.
you know, might sound egoic, but there's just something really fulfilling. I know for myself, like getting off stage and talking to people who like just had an amazing experience watching you play and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why I do this.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the absolute best thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The last like awesome show that you had that you felt that.
Lots of different instances. There's one time when I was playing with a band. I don't know why I was like in a great mood and I think I had a good performance. I was just playing bass with a band and it was a small show and this really old man came to me afterwards and told me how he's been struggling with forget what he had, but some illness and how he just enjoyed watching me play so much that he forgot about everything and all of his pain and was like on
Oh,
the verge of tears and stuff. And I was like, wow, I
that's,
did that.
that's so good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Or moments where you just were so connected with the band that you were playing with and you felt the audience and everyone was just like in it, in the moment, the whole room and you just feel it and it's just magical.
yeah.
It's like that's why we're all here on earth.
I wish
Music
I had,
is a universal language. This is beyond words. This is beyond like everything. This is in the realm of the mystery that we can't explain.
yeah,
All the cheesy things to say, but it's true.
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Um, we played this show in Louisville on this last tour that felt so much that I actually, after we got off stage, I like went back behind the club outside and cried for 10 minutes because it was so profoundly connected and it felt I just felt so validated and so appreciated and the music felt so good and I just was like so grateful to be with my band and it just all that whole trifecta that we were talked about earlier came together and it was so overwhelming because it doesn't happen that much to that degree.
Right.
And it's like everything that we live for that it took me by surprise. And I haven't played Louisville. It was a brand new audience, a small room, like 70, but it was sold out. And the people who run the club, it's called the Monarch, they just care so much about community and music. And it was it was the best. It was the best.
Sometimes the smaller shows are like the best. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like you connect more, right? It's smaller audience versus like a huge thousands of people, like a sea of people.
Totally. I sing differently, I like convey my lyrics differently when I know people are listening.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's a
I
different.
also prefer seeing shows that way, like going to smaller things. Even though there's magic to huge things too sometimes, but yeah. If anyone's interested, I will link your Patreon and your website or whatever else you want me to link. I would link in the show notes. Is there something that's super alive for you that these days that we didn't talk about that you want to bring up?
Hmm. Um, I'm in a very interesting season of finishing, um, and like building at the same time. And I have two records that I need to finish that feel very, I'm trying to sort of honor the creatures that they are and show up for them in a way where I can finish them. Yeah, this is an elusive answer for something, but I will say in a more tangible way that I have a couple of music projects right now that are sort of side projects that feel really good right now and very alive. And one of them is this women's choir that we started in Denver. And it's like once a month, women, singer-songwriters in the scene getting together, singing together. And it feels so good and so important. It's a new thing this year, but I remember earlier this year when we started it, I was like, I don't have time for this. What am I doing? I can't add another project to my schedule. And now it's like, I cannot imagine not doing this. It feels so important to make music and gather in that way. And then my band, same band members, started a country band called Road Pony. And between those two, it's like the most fun I've had playing music in a really long time. And it's like there's no expectation attached to any of them. It's purely for me, I think for everyone, about like making good music with your friends. I just haven't had that in so long because there's so much, the economics are attached to my craft. And so it just gets a little tangled up, and these projects don't really have that. It's just about being connected and making good music and finding people that appreciate us. And if there's money, all the better.
That's beautiful. Just music, connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like I'm in a really cool season of music. I'm really grateful for that.
Amazing. So you have any, it's going to take a while till some of those recordings will be finished, or is there any announcements of shows or anything?
Not quite there, but I don't, they're so close. They're both very close. I think that announcements will come soon. I think a plan to release both of them will be in place by the end of the year, certainly, but like into fall.
Awesome. So we'll look out for that. So anyone listening, follow Megan. Go check out her music if you don't know it yet. Any final notes?
Oh, it's good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So great to see you. Thank you for coming on like spontaneously.
I know. I'm so happy to chat.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If this episode resonated, send it to a friend, share it in your stories, or take a moment to rate the podcast and subscribe. It genuinely helps this little baby podcast grow organically and reach to the people that it needs to reach. I really appreciate every comment and every review. And as always, if you want to go deeper, my course, retreat, and free resources are all linked below. This is your healing era. Take care, and I'll see you next time.